why the fuck haven't you brought that Mazda in?
Yeah.
Not you.
Donald Trump is selling $100,000 early access to his True Social tweets, which is Donald Trump is selling $100,000 early access to his True Social tweets, which is just a front running for insider trading.
But you know, people who feel that way, who literally, I had one of my closest friends went off the deep end, just like Trump, and all of a sudden Trump's under the bed, and it's like, whoa, it's monomania.
Yeah.
But I also, it's like
he was under my bed.
Okay, that's funny.
We're looking at each other. As long as we're trying to find all of the things that are in the other. And by the way, whether it's the other that's the immigrant or whether it's the other that's our neighbor, is and we're not focused on the things that really matter. And these beautiful things where people would say, "Hey, I'm a 3-time Trump voter, but I just want to say, keep on keeping on, brother. Like, I love you for your recovery. It gives me hope."
Watch you platform Hunter Biden is pathetic. Yeah, folks, for his own sake, Tucker Carlson probably shouldn't have had Hunter Biden on his podcast, but for our sake, I am so glad he did. There's a lot to get into here. There was a ton said in this interview, and I watched the whole thing, so y'all don't have to, but I compiled the best parts. And I want to start here with Hunter Biden talking about Donald Trump to Tucker Carlson, and then later in the video, we'll explore all the reasons why Tucker's audience is now turning against him. So without further ado, like, subscribe, and let's dive in with
Donald Trump. Because for me, the one existential threat that I think that we face as a country is Donald Trump. I am not this believer that Trump is merely the symptom of a disease. I believe that Trump is central to why this disease has gone from a local epidemic to a pandemic in the United States of America.
You know, you could say lots of things about Trump are bad, but getting us into a war we can't win, in which Americans are dying in Iran, that will only diminish America's power and bankrupt us. I mean, that's the only exit, really.
Yeah.
And make Iran stronger. And like, no, Chuck Schumer is like, yeah, it's bad, but of course he endorses, like, the whole leadership structure endorses that. So like, can't really say, like, they like Trump now.
Yeah. I don't know if they like Trump.
Maybe it's like he's obnoxious or whatever, but he's doing what they want.
I think it's a little bit of it. Well, by the way, I don't disagree that there's an enormous failure of the of what I call the elite oligarch Epstein class of Washington D.C.
Yes.
That you and I both know
very well.
Yes, and that are as interested in protecting their the corporate overlords are in the And I mean, just take like the issue of stock trading. Okay.
Yeah.
My dad in 1972 took a vow that he would never own a stock or a bond, and he kept that vow since 1972 in over 50 years of public life. And from the presidency is having probably the lowest net worth of anyone that had ever entered the presidency. And meanwhile, he got tagged with this idea that he was and that all of that crap. But my point being is this: is it Republicans
pass a law that prohibits members of Congress.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I mean, this is the most common sense thing in the world. It should be in the administration too. It should be anybody with the access to the most valuable insider information of all. And meanwhile, not only are we not passing the law, Donald Trump is getting $100,000 early access to his True Social tweets, which is just front running for insider trading, literally in the open. And that's what I mean. The quantitative, qualitative difference of Donald Trump as compared to anything I've ever experienced in politics before is the sense that the rule of law is only applies as a weapon rather than as a prophylactic for the Constitution to be able to operate in a way in which the founders envisioned it.
You know that by the smell.
I'm so sorry. I just had to let the natural Tucker Carlson ad slip in there because it's so jarringly funny, and that's literally where it is in the episode, which I've watched all of, okay, and we have more to get to, so please drop a like and subscribe for my own sanity and appreciation for sitting through 2 hours of this, albeit on 2 times speed. But here's where things get actually really incredible. We get to the fallout of Tucker's audience. Next, Hunter Biden actually references a video I have referenced on this channel about 1 million times of the cup guy who uses red Solo cups to show the wealth inequality, a bunch of different stuff, but mostly the come from.
been wanting to make a video about AOC for a while now, but I've had a really hard time pinning her down. Does she plan to be president in 2028? Maybe she'll stay in her same House district. Oh, Chuck Schumer's up for re-election in 2028. Maybe she'll run for his seat in the Senate. Instead, 2 out of 3 of these scenarios, I believe, are easy wins for AOC, but the presidency, it's a big hill to climb. But according to all of you, it doesn't sound all that crazy. Now, the past couple weeks, I've been running a survey of this channel, and it seems to me that there's 3 candidates that you all think could be the next president. At least the next Democratic nominee: Gavin Newsom, Jon Ossoff, and AOC. And public opinion polls have actually been backing this up. A recent Emerson poll, which is widely considered the most trusted in the space here, has pretty similar results, with some Pete Buttigieg and Kamala Harris thrown in the mix. But these numbers are still only giving AOC around a 10% chance of the nomination. Now, granted, that's more of a chance than most politicians in this country ever get. in their lifetimes, so maybe it's worth going after. But at the same time, AOC is only 36. She'd be the youngest president in history if she won in 2028. On the other hand, Chuck Schumer, a deeply unpopular senator, would be a much easier candidate to defeat in 2028. A Data for Progress poll shows her winning by nearly 20 points, and working in the Senate would give her time in Congress to prepare a run for the presidency in 2032 or 2036. At the same time, though, it's also true that this may be AOC's only opportunity to run for president. Political history in this country is littered with examples of politicians waiting for the right moment to run for president, and then that moment never comes for them. So at a time when progressives across the country are beating out establishment figures like in Michigan with Abdullah Syed, Zohran Mamdani in New York City, and even congressional races in Colorado, this may be the one moment a true, unabashed progressive like AOC could blaze through the 2028 Democratic primary for president. And I think the general election for 2028 is shaping up to be pretty bad for Republicans. If the current approval ratings for the Trump administration hold up, it's looking more and more likely to me that a bag of rocks might be able to beat whoever the Republicans run. If I were AOC, I'd have a very hard time turning down a run for the presidency in 2028. Her biggest challenge is Democratic primary voters. As we know, there is a faction of the party that would love to vote for AOC. There's a faction that won't vote for AOC, but there's also a third faction that just wants the most electable candidate to win the election. These voters have been hesitant, to say the least, around the prospect of voting for AOC. Could she win them over? Let's find out. Man, I just gotta be honest, there is so much polling data to go through to understand AOC's future. So before we get to all of it, I thought it would be a good idea to go over the one simple dashboard in my life where the numbers are always current. This is Monarch, today's sponsor. I'll put this thing up in demo mode, not because I don't trust you guys with my actual financial numbers, just, So I am not a check my budget every month kind of person, and I honestly think that's why this app has worked for me so well. Monarch syncs with over 13,000 banks, cards, and brokerages. So whenever I open it, whether it's at the end of the month or after a big purchase, everything is updated and already there for me. As you can see here, it's all on one clean dashboard. We can see all of my accounts, my spending, my net worth, my credit score even. And again, it's all tracked automatically. It's able to keep my fixed versus flexible spending separated with categories I customized once and have never had to set again. And if something in your budget really looks weird, the AI Insight will flag it and explain it to you in plain English. One of my favorite things is that government, she's a representative of the Bronx in the House of Representatives. And that job did not come easy. AOC made a name for herself in 2018 when she ousted a 10-term Democratic incumbent in her district named Joe Crowley, which even today I think is one of the largest upsets in modern American history. She became the youngest woman ever elected to Congress at 29 years old, and had a really great story for how she got there. After graduating college, AOC worked as a bartender in the Bronx at a place called Flat's Fix. She had done some advocacy work in that time, including protesting the Dakota Access Oil Pipeline, which got her some recognition with groups like Brand New Congress and Justice Democrats, who convinced her to run against Joe Crowley in her home district. There's actually a great documentary that was made during this whole process called Knock the House Down. You can watch on YouTube after this video. For now, I need you to like and subscribe and keep watching and all that hype, maybe. A lot of things are just going right for progressives right now. I don't think I properly visualized the size of those Fighting Oligarchy tours we talked about. In total, the tour saw over 261,000 attendees, including 36,000 in Los Angeles and 34,000 in Denver, which is bigger than any Bernie Sanders campaign rally ever. Nobody else in the party is capable of these numbers right now. Number two, she's young. The Democratic Party is constantly plagued by their decision to run Joe Biden for re-election in 2024, the oldest president ever elected at that time. AOC, as we mentioned, would be the youngest president ever elected in 2028 at 39 years old. According to DFP, Democratic voters say elderly leaders should pass the torch by a margin of 44 points. Number three, she can wield the progressive machine. There is a giant infrastructure that's come into play since Bernie's 2016 campaign. It's a machine that supports progressive candidates. I'm talking about a very energized volunteer network, a massive small dollar list for contributions, and a lot of really talented campaign staff out there that will do whatever it takes to get a progressive elected president. There is nobody else in the party, aside from maybe Ro Khanna, that can mobilize this machine for the presidency like AOC. On Act Blue, in the first half of 2025, AOC drew in the third most small dollar donations in the entire party, behind only the DNC itself and the DSCC. and ahead of every other individual candidate. Party operatives have even told Axios that she'd raise $100 million from small donors.
Today we're making the internet's most viral bird. This is our plan to change your city. This is our plan to change your city for the better. 7.
Are you serious?
These strangers think they're here to approve new plans for the city. But the catch is, we made this presentation, and the only goal is to make the strangers turn against the presenters.
Children fit into tight spaces better than adults. This maximizes workplace value.
No way. It's disgusting.
What do you mean?
I'm offended.
This is offensive? It's a mock-up.
Of the kid who's gonna lose his hand?
No, it's showing that they can fit into tight spaces. This relieves adults from getting any serious injuries.
Knock yourself out.
This is abuse. We can't even.
So is it a yes?
No, yes. Anybody wanna say yes on this one? Raise your hand.
Okay, we'll move on.
That was just the first of many city plans they'll have to present. And at the end, strangers will raise their hands if they approved of the plan. Because whichever team gets less hands after both teams present will be doing a terrible mystery punishment at the end. But you know it's not going to be us. It's not going to be us. We're good. By the way, guys, the boys have no idea what they're about to face next. It's going to be bad. Really bad.
The United States currently faces a widespread public health crisis. In our city, 27.6% of adults are classified as obese. Welcome our newest health initiative, Long Walk parking spots. Mandatory parking for obese people.
I think people need to take their own initiative to do that.
Well, we prefer to call it more like a fitness journey, right?
People are gonna be very
I didn't mean to offend anybody.
You're gonna find those lawsuits on that.
And who's gonna be dictating who's obese or not?
Okay, Justin did help make with this.
Now you're pointing at campus there.
I'm just saying, he wanted me to. I'm sorry. You can find these spots located at the back of any parking lot.
Oh my god. This got to be a joke.
If caught using normal people parking spots, you will be weighed and receive a $150 fine. What? Hold on, guys. It's not funny.
Should you park farther away to walk?
I mean, as of recently, I'm kind of going through, the fitness grind, so.
Okay, so I command you to always park farther.
Okay, so I gotta stick to my word.
Or you have to pay us each $150 fine.
I command you. I've never seen this. Wait, this is going to be the craziest thing I've ever seen.
So this one's a no.
No, absolutely not.
In the back, is it a no?
Oh, it's a little.
Okay, let's move on. Our city faces a severe homelessness crisis. We can solve this and give homeless residents a second chance. We are proud to announce the Hope Tower.
Okay, this is absurd. I think I'm going to walk off the edge.
It is open, yeah.
What's the liability issues with all this?
We haven't thought of that yet.
Yeah, well, you know what?
You just hit him with the you know what.
How are they not falling off of it?
Oh, I can't answer that. Maybe we put some walls. You want walls?
It's so negative, it's insane. They're all on them.
It moves tents off our streets and into one single structure.
What an eyesore.
Encouraging them to stay homeless.
They would each get an address, so, I mean, they wouldn't be homeless.
Free AC, I guess.
And water, right?
Oh, yeah.
It will be the world's tallest structure, equal to 3 Eiffel Towers.
Oh, my God.
Is the mock-up the problem?
The reality of it is the problem. It's almost comical.
Well, it's just new ideas.
Then you guys gotta come up with it.
It clears our sidewalks while getting homeless people safely indoors.
How is that safe?
They're like under a roof.
You gotta have windows.
They're more likely to drop the ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Imagine this, right? You're walking along the sidewalk and there's just tons of homeless encampments right there. You put them in here, it doesn't.
Cleaning all of them and maintaining them.
We're not going to maintain it.
No, it's on them.
Yeah, it's their home.
Does anybody come in your home and clean your home?
Okay, so with all of these people living in there, so it becomes rat infested like all the camps they have.
Well, that's not our problem. We're doing them a service in the first place.
That's not a problem though. We're doing them a service.
Whose problem is it then if it's on city property and it's owned by the city?
It's their problem because we just gave them indoors.
That is an indoor.
Well, let's just keep going then. We can even partner with neighboring cities. We'll offer to bring all our homeless residents here.
Oh, and bring more in?
homeless capital.
Here. He wants to bust them in here.
Homeless people from all over the world will travel here. Homeless people from all over the world.
These are people and not pests, and they aren't meant to be around.
No, they don't have to go on the bus. We would just highly suggest it. So is this one a yes or a no? Hard no on everybody. No?
Also, rodents can be a sustainable food source.
Well, rodents. Okay. Alright, well, let's keep going.
No, we're going to win tonight.
Housing costs are too high, but we can fix it. Houses of worship pay zero property tax and sit empty 6 days a week.
She's gonna have something to say about this.
We are building affordable housing directly on their land.
No, are you kidding?
Are you kidding? Where did the houses of worship go? Introducing the Mega Faith Center.
Oh my god. Sounds like a great.
Picture it, every faith under one roof. Again, this is the first time.
What is that?
They're talking about a target for
That's a good one, yeah.
If that's a problem, we can make them go through a metal detector.
If it's a problem, you could always make them go through like a metal detector, you know what I mean?
Bring that to church.
saying that some people are anti-religion.
Well, they're why would anybody hurt each other?
Certain religions that go along with LGBT rights are in a full-blown war right now.
You're saying this could be their first time shooting.
This could be their first time sharing things. Yeah, we sit in circles and we just try to figure it out. Do you guys like it or no?
Waste of money.
Did I hear a yes?
No.
I heard a yes into that. Okay.
Is there anybody saying yes? Let him know.
Yes? Okay, thank you.
No, I love this lady. This is our. She's like our goat.
We have a safety problem in this city. Traditional policing is expensive, complicated, and requires months of training. But once I told you our city has people ready, we're proposing a new initiative, the Homeless Patrol.
Oh my God, this is lame.
Do you like this one?
Well, you want to hear the pitfalls?
I do, yeah.
I love how you have the uniform like he's had it a while.
Oh my god.
We will equip our newly deputized Homeless Patrol with less lethal tools.
Zip ties, pepper spray.
Oh my god.
So now you give her a whole minute job. That's fabulous.
They available, motivated, every corner.
I mean, they're available, they're motivated to work, and they're available everywhere.
Okay, all right, go to your next slide.
Oh my gosh. Alright.
We are training them with our current police force. And we're loving the results.
He's getting sprayed for sitting there. That's cruel.
Moving on. Next.
They might get zero hands, bro.
Okay, so this is a yes or a no though?
No. If anybody for this, raise your hand.
That was so bad. I didn't even want to make them say extra stuff. Al was so scared for them. I thought they were about to get attacked.
More tourists means more money and jobs for everyone. Chinatowns drive 75% of city tourism, acting as a massive revenue funnel. That's why we are launching a new cultural hub to multiply revenue. We will let you guys decide which one we build. Thai Town?
Is that a guy? Got a thicker stash than I do.
You guys decide which one we build. Thai Town?
Is that a guy? He's got a thicker stash than I do.
Bazaar Boulevard? Dwarf District?
Oh my god. This is insane.
Which cultural hub do we begin construction on next year?
I was really optimistic that you guys were starting to get serious. But
This is serious. I can't move on until we pick one.
None.
I like Bazaar Boulevard.
Dwarf district.
I like that one.
That's personally my favorite.
Do you have one that you choose?
Hard no.
Okay, so Dwarf District it is?
yeah.
Alright, okay, that's good to know. And for the only good idea today, Chime, America's #1 choice for banking. Chime.
Thank you to Chime.
Violence involves people passing through. Let's lower that to 0% with our new Safe Tunnel Initiative.
Racist.
Built with military-grade, fully bulletproof
It's bulletproof?
polycarbonate.
There's no way for a bad guy to walk into a tunnel.
We
could check the address on like IDs and stuff. The tunnel connects like safe neighborhoods seamlessly through rough areas.
Whoa, is that
And
going
the
to be a
bad guys can't
project?
get in there. How about that?
Because I guess I'll have security to each one to decide if you're a bad guy to come in the tunnel or not.
Police at both ends guarantee no infiltrators.
Police at both ends, guaranteed no infiltrators.
Seems like a dystopian world. Okay, hard now.
No.
Well, just new ideas, you know.
No matter the neighborhood, you remain.
That is so racist.
No, you're not going to be able to afford to live in this town with all of their ideas.
Say you can feel the stairs, but just know you're safe.
I mean, being in there, you probably will feel the stairs, but you're completely safe in there.
So it's graffitied up.
Yes on this one?
No.
All right, we'll just move on then.
This is the most tense crowd I've ever seen in my life. Their last thing is the worst one of all. It's a fucking song. We AI'd McCain's voice and put him in the song.
It's the anthem.
I gotta hear this shit.
Every country has an anthem, but our cities have nothing. So we spent days composing an anthem that represents our city. Give it a listen and let us know what you think.
Wait, I can't watch this. I don't know if I can watch this. I don't know if I can watch this.
Here we go.
Welcome to Long Beach. Everyone nice as a peach. We have so much to teach. Your dreams are within reach. Large families, all because we use no rubbers. There's tons of diversity. We have all colors. We love our people some more than others. We especially love our white brothers. All the women are so.
I can't watch
Yeah.
that. That's too great.
As we're getting close to the release of Grand Theft Auto 6, I have been analyzing every screenshot and trailers that Rockstar has.
Today we were trying restaurants that are inside of people's homes, like this house. Hey! Which is actually a whole barbecue restaurant. There's actually way more of these than I thought, and I want to see if people running a restaurant out of their own home can compete with the big dogs, or if this is as sketchy as it sounds. Alright, we're at our first place right now, Austentaneous Cheesecake. Yeah, I know, it's just a house. It's called Austentaneous because we are in Austin. We're also in a random cul-de-sac. Yeah, if you look on Google Maps, this is a neighborhood, and it just randomly says there's a restaurant called Austentaneous Cheesecake. That looks good! You would never guess someone's like running inside of their house, especially from these pictures. And I love me some cheesecake too. Oh, hey! Peter. What's all? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got an industrial fridge in here.
Really?
Got all the things you need to make a bunch of cheesecakes. Been doing it since college and did it as a hobby, and I still love doing it. It's just an awesome side
That's fair. This barbecue. Yeah, so it turns out that was like a pop-up, but he usually does stuff out of his house, which is really cool. I think we're trying new stuff today. Everyone has been asking for you. Everyone on the channel, man. Doing good. Like, you're the most requested, most loved person we've ever got food from. Really? Literally. Yeah. I gotta show you some comments. How you been, man?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Trying to make it. Trying to make a dollar. Trying to further it and see where it goes.
So what are we doing today?
Well, actually, Mondays and Tuesdays are my days off, right?
Oh.
So what I do, I just no, it's cool. I experiment.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be trying new things here and there, here and there. So I got a new flavor of chicken that I'm doing.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna tell you what it is.
Okay.
I'm gonna make y'all plate, and then we'll see how.
And it's perfect. We've tried it before. We can compare it to like the last time.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the chicken. I made some regular and some because I got some other people coming too.
So sometimes you have people come here and sometimes you do the pop-ups, right?
I do a lot of church events as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I got an event actually this weekend coming up.
We gotta do the chicken first, right?
Yep. Hunt.
Varies by clan. Sign up today. All right. Oh boy. Really? It's gonna be so good. Oh.
W. Steve, the food looks so good.
Oh.
Well, it's small. That's why I said it's very good.
Yeah. No, it's not too bad. I mean, it's bigger than ours. Okay, so what are we trying today?
Okay, today is going to be my malasadas. They're like Hawaiian brioche donuts.
Okay.
Not just donuts, brioche donuts. So
Okay.
it's more egg, more buttery. Usually my popular flavor is the ube.
Yeah.
You guys know the ube.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So the donuts.
Yeah, I mean, because
marketplace.
someone could buy all of these and they just don't show up.
Exactly.
That's my first introduction to ube. Really good. Yeah.
It's so popular right now. Did you see Starbucks just
Oh, really?
new flavor, the ube, but it's not ube. It's purple, call it, but then they call it ube. It's not ube. Ube is the flavor. It's a very popular flavor in the Philippines. It's our Filipino pride. Let me see if it's ready. Oh, it's not ready yet. So usually it takes like 4 to 5 minutes and it's ready to flip. Sugar them and then fill it up. What flavor are you guys looking into trying today?
As many as we can.
Flavor, okay.
So you're from the Philippines?
I do.
Officers are pursuing us.
This is McDonald's. And this is McDonald's that I've set up at one of the world's biggest.
Now, there's one thing you might have noticed I don't complain about. Politicians. Everybody complains about politicians. Everybody says they suck. Yeah! Well, where do people think these politicians come from? They don't fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality. They come from American parents and American families, American homes, American schools, American churches, American businesses, and American universities, and they're elected by American citizens. This is the best we can do, folks. This is what we have to offer. It's what our system produces. Garbage in, garbage out. We've got selfish, ignorant, You're gonna get selfish here. You're just gonna wind up with a brand new bunch of selfish, ignorant Americans. So maybe it's not the politicians who suck. Maybe something else sucks around here. Like the public. Yeah, the public sucks. There's a nice campaign slogan for somebody. The public sucks. Fuck home. Fuck home. Because if it's really just the fault of these politicians, then where are all the other bright people of conscience? Where are all the bright, honest, intelligent Americans ready to step in and save the nation and lead the way? We don't have people like that in this country. Everybody's at the wall, scratching his head, taking his nose, taking his credit card out, saying I can buy a pair of sneakers with lights in there. Solve this little political dilemma for myself in a very simple way. On election day, I stay home. I don't vote. Fuck 'em. Fuck 'em. I don't vote. Two reasons I don't vote. First of all, meaningless. This country was bought and sold and paid for a long time ago. The shit they shuffle around every 4 years doesn't mean a fucking thing. And secondly, I don't vote because I believe if you vote, you have no right to complain. People like to twist that around. I know. They say, well, if you don't vote, you have no right to complain. But where's the logic in that? If you vote and you elect dishonest, incompetent people, and they get into office and screw everything up, well, you are responsible for what they have done. You caused the problem. You voted them in. You have no right to complain. I, on the other hand, who did not vote, who in fact did not even leave the house on election day, am in no way responsible for what these people have done and have every right to complain as loud as I want about the mess you created that I had nothing to do with. So I know that a little later on this year you're going to have another one of those really swell presidential elections that you like so much. You'll enjoy yourselves. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm sure as soon as the election is over, your country will improve immediately. As for me, I'll be home on that day doing essentially the same thing as you. The only difference is when I get finished masturbating, I'm going to have a little something to show for it, folks. Thank you very much. But if you talk to one of them about this, if you isolate one of them, you sit them down rationally, you talk to them about the low IQs and the dumb behavior and the bad decisions, right away they start talking about education. That's the big answer to everything. Education. We need more money for education. We need more books, more teachers, more classrooms, more schools. We need more testing for the kids. You say to them, well, you know, we've tried all of that, and the kids still can't pass the test. You say, don't you worry about that. We're going to lower the passing grades. That's what they do in a lot of these schools now. They lower the passing grades so more kids can pass. More kids pass, the school looks good, everybody's happy, the IQ of the country slips another 2 or 3 points, and pretty soon all you'll need to get into college is a fucking pencil. You got a pencil? Get the fuck in there, it's physics. Then everyone wonders why 17 other countries graduate more scientists than we do. Education! Politicians know that word, they use it on you. Politicians have traditionally hidden behind 3 things: the flag, the Bible, and children. No child left behind. No child left behind. Oh, really? Well, it wasn't long ago you were talking about giving kids a head start. Head start, left behind? Someone's losing fucking ground here.
God.
This is
the best comedians don't tell jokes.
An 11-year-old boy left his drink outside overnight, and by morning, he'd invented a dessert that would sell over 2 billion units a year. In 1905, in San Francisco, Frank Epperson mixed powdered soda and water on his front porch, then left the cup outside with a stirring stick still in it. Temperatures dropped low enough overnight to freeze it solid. The next morning, he found a fruity ice block frozen around the stick. He'd accidentally made a treat he could hold and lick. Epperson kept making them for friends and family for years, calling them Epsicles. It wasn't until 1923 that he decided to sell them commercially at an amusement park in California. His own kids kept calling them Popsicles after their dad, and the name Popsicle stuck. Epperson got a patent on the invention in 1924. Then, the Great Depression hit, and Epperson found himself in hard times. He sold the rights of the Popsicle to the Joe Low Company to cover his debts. The Joe Low Company then aggressively marketed popsicles across the United States and introduced the famous two-stick popsicle, so two children could share one. A frustrated chef was trying to punish a picky customer. Ended up perhaps the most craveable snack in history. According to famous legend, in 1853, at Moon's Lake House near Saratoga Springs, New York, Chef George Crumb, yes, a man named Crumb invented potato chips, supposedly kept getting his fried potatoes sent back. The customer said they were too thick and not crisp enough. Crumb, the story goes, got annoyed, sliced the potatoes paper thin, fried them until they cracked, and loaded them with salt. He expected complaints. Instead, the customer loved them. Word spread, and Crumb's Saratoga chips became a menu staple, then a regional specialty sold in stores across upstate New York. Now, it is true that food historians have been able to identify cookbooks from years before 1853 potato slices, but it's not clear that Crumb had access to these. And there is no doubt that he is owed the credit to popularizing the dish, if not strictly inventing it from scratch. Saratoga chips became a regional hit, sold in paper bags at Moon's Lake House for decades. Two brothers left a pot of boiled wheat sitting out too long, and instead of throwing it away, they accidentally invented breakfast cereal. In 1894, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg and his brother Will ran a health sanitarium in Battle Creek, Michigan. They were experimenting with bland, easy-to-digest food for patients. One batch of boiled wheat got left out and went stale. Rather than waste it, they ran it through rollers anyway, extruding long sheets of dough. Instead, each grain flattened into a separate flake. They toasted the flakes and served them to patients who liked them. So the brothers repeated it on purpose, this time using corn instead of wheat, and corn flakes were born. Then came the conflict. The two brothers split bitterly over how to run the business. Will wanted to add sugar to boost sales. John did. He wanted to keep it healthy and believed eating food wasn't just bad for people's bodies, but also their minds. So Will broke off and founded the Kellogg Company in 1906 and turned the accidental flake into a global cereal empire that still bears the family name today. Two chemists made a sauce so disgusting they buried it in a basement and forgot about it, only to discover years later that it had become one of the most iconic condiments in the world. In the 1830s, English chemists John Lee and William Perrins were asked by a nobleman, Lord Marcus Sandys, to recreate a spiced sauce he'd tasted in Bengal, India. So they got to work, mixing anchovies, vinegar, tamarind, and spices. Then they tasted it and hated it. The first batch tasted harsh and unpleasant. The smell was overpowering. Disappointed, instead of dumping the batch, they stored the barrel in their cellar in Worcester, England, and forgot about it. Months later, while clearing storage space, they rediscovered the barrel and decided to taste it before dumping it out. The extended fermentation had transformed the flavor completely. It mellowed the harshness and twisted things rich and savory. So they bottled it and began selling it commercially in 1837 under the Lee and Perrin name. The exact recipe remains a closely guarded secret to this day, reportedly known by only a handful of people at any given time. Worcestershire sauce eventually became a key ingredient in Worcestershire cocktails, Caesar dressing, and countless marinades across the globe, all because two chemists nearly threw away a mistake instead of letting it sit long enough to work. A circus performer's dirty bathroom may be the reason pink lemonade exists at all. Its repeated origin story dates back to the 1850s, tied to circuses traveling through the American Midwest. According to Circus Lore, a vendor named was selling plain lemonade when he ran short of water. The performer had just finished rinsing pink ice water back. Desperate to keep selling, used that tinted water to make lemonade. Customers didn't complain about the color, and some accounts claim it even tastes better than the clear version. Then there's a competing story that credits another circus vendor, Henry E. Owlett, who accidentally dropped red cinnamon candies into a batch of lemonade, turning it pink and giving it a slightly spiced flavor. Because both stories come from unverified circus folklore, historians can't confirm exactly which happened, or if either did. What's certain is that pink lemonade caught on fast at fairs and circuses throughout the late 1800s, marketed as a novelty. Today, most pink lemonade gets its color from added fruit juices like cranberry or from food dye, not tights or candy. But the accidental, slightly questionable origin story has stuck around for over 150 years. A cook accidentally dropped a burrito into a deep fryer, and instead of fishing it out and starting over, she let it cook, and created a Tex-Mex staple. From Monaco, an El Charro Cafe in Tucson, Arizona, starting in the 1990s. According to the story, sometime around the 1950s, she was making a burrito and accidentally knocked it into a vat of hot oil. Her instinct was to shout a curse word, but with children nearby, she caught herself and chimichanga instead, a nonsense word roughly translated to something like thingamajig in Mexican slang. Rather than tossing the ruined burrito, she pulled it out and tasted it. The tortilla had turned golden and crispy, while the fillings inside stayed hot and intact. She began serving the fried burritos at her restaurant, and the name stuck. Other Arizona restaurants have made competing claims to inventing the dish around the same era. But regardless of who fried the first one, the chimichanga spread across the American Southwest through the mid-1900s, eventually becoming a staple on Tex-Mex menus worldwide, usually served with sour cream, guacamole, and a broken soda fountain incidentally created an entire category of frozen drinks now sold at nearly every convenience store in America. In 1958, Omar Nedlick owned a dairy Kansas. The soda fountain broke, so he stuck bottles of soda in his freezer to keep them cold instead. Customers kept showing up, and by the time he pulled the bottles out, the soda had partially frozen into a slushy, semi-solid mixture. Instead of tossing it, he served it anyway. Customers liked the icy texture more than regular soda, and Nedlick noticed people kept coming back specifically for the slush. Recognizing what he'd stumbled onto, Nedlick spent the next few years developing a machine that could create that frozen texture on demand, patenting it in 1965 under the name Icy. He later licensed the technology to 7-Eleven, which rebranded its version as the Slurpee in 1967, using a name meant to mimic the sound of drinking one. Both brands still exist today, running side by side in different stores. both tracing back to one broken freezer in Kansas that never got fixed in time. A jammed animal feed machine accidentally created one of the best-selling snacks in the world. In the early 1930s, at the Flacon Corporation in Beloit, Wisconsin, employees were grinding moist corn to make flaked livestock feed. One day, an employee named Edward Wilson noticed that when the wet corn grits passed through a hot grinding machine, the moisture inside them turned to steam, puffing the corn up into light, crunchy shapes as it exited the machine. It wasn't feed anymore. It was something closer to a snack. Wilson brought samples home to his wife, who fried them and seasoned them, and the family agreed they were worth selling. The company began producing them commercially in 1936 under the name Corn Curls, using cheese powder as the primary flavoring. The product became the direct blueprint for what snack companies would later scale up nationally, most notably Cheetos, launched by Elmer Doolin at Frito Company in 1948 using nearly identical extrusion technology. Today, cheese puffs are sold under dozens of brand names worldwide, all descending from a feed mill machine that puffed corn by accident. A chemist ignored basic lab safety rules and accidentally discovered a sweetener 200 times stronger than sugar by literally licking his own finger. In 1965, chemist James Schlatter was working at G.B. Searle and Company, trying to develop a drug to treat stomach ulcers, while combining two amino acids, aspartic acid and phenylalanine. In his lab, a small amount of the compound got on his finger. Later, while reaching for a piece of paper, he licked his finger without thinking and noticed an intensely sweet taste. Now, when working with acids and chemicals in a lab, it is generally considered an unsafe practice to lick your finger. But that didn't stop Schlatter, and after his lick, he became even more curious. Today, aspartame is used in thousands of diet sodas, gummies, and low-calorie foods worldwide. From a lab research that required basic chemical safety. A Chinese company had accidentally created one of the most poisonous substances over 2,000 years ago, simply by mixing the wrong two ingredients together. The most widely cited origin traces back to China during the Han Dynasty around 146 BC, tied to a nobleman named Liu An. According to the legend, a cook in Luan's household was preparing a mixture of ground soybeans and water when it accidentally came into contact with nagari, a compound found in seawater, or possibly a mineral salt used nearby. That mineral caused the soy milk to curdle and separate, coagulating the proteins into a soft, solid mass. Rather than seeing failed soy milk, the cook found something with a firm, custard-like texture that could be cut and cooked differently. Tofu spread throughout Asia over the following centuries, becoming a dietary staple across China, Japan, and Korea long before it reached Western countries in the 20th century as a protein source and meat alternative. Nomadic herders storing milk in animal stomachs may have created one of the world's oldest fermented foods entirely by accident, thousands of years before anyone understood bacteria even existed. The story traces back to Central Asia and the Middle East, sometime before 5000 BC, tied to nomadic tribes who transported milk in pouches made from the stomachs of sheep or goats. Those stomach linings naturally contained bacteria and enzymes left over from digestion. As herders travel, body heat and ambient temperature caused the milk inside those pouches to thickening it and giving it a tangy, sour taste, completely different from fresh milk. But